Hello? Okay, so I was muted there. Okay, so yeah, as you've probably seen, I'm doing a little bit of a play test, and yeah, we recently added, during the implementation of the boss fight, we recently added this charge attack. Oops, let's go back over here. Yeah, the charge attack. Whoa. And yeah, I'm just trying things out, see how it feels. It would also be cool to clock, like, how long does it take to complete the entire thing, including the boss. Like, probably less than an hour or something. Because yeah, I really feel like the areas are like a lot smaller than I probably want them to be. Like the whole first sort of dungeon area. Maybe we'll see if maybe it's just that I need to sort of just expand existing areas, or maybe I need to sort of create more. Let's see, create like more of the area. And yeah, these guys are way easier now with the charge attack. Oops, oh, I made it. And also feel like, you know, a little bit with the jump. I still feel it's a bit annoying. I think I'm gonna sort of remove maybe... It does still feel a little rubber banded. Like you get up to this point, you get... It sort of still feels like you're getting smashed in the head. Like when you're at the top. But yeah, so I might just revert back, because I did try, you know, other games and try to see, you know, compare how the jumping feels, and I don't know, most of them actually just has, you know, a parabola, so maybe it was just a matter of increasing the gravity a little bit, or increasing the jump height a little bit, so you can make this jump a lot easier. So I think I'm gonna revert actually to that. Yeah. Because it feels so weird when you're jumping in the air and suddenly it feels like you're hitting something with your head. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about what we could do. Still want to work like on the camera. I'm pretty sure that the camera, so how the camera will work is gonna be, I'm pretty sure I kind of know exactly how I want it to be. I also need to work on like the entrance of the boss. That's probably something I'm gonna come up with later, but it's kind of weird how it just starts like this. But yeah, probably gonna be some like in the sort of polish stage. Oh shit. The hitboxes on those are kind of maybe a little bit too big for what I feel makes sense. Okay. So what could we do? Like, I would like to add items and stuff, like adding usable items, like you know, just health potions, whatever the equivalent would be. And maybe a way to, you know, get ingredients to craft those, because if you have that, if you have like ingredients, that enables you to sort of like increase the amount of secrets you can have, because the variance of the rewards that you could get will be a lot higher. So I think that makes that whole experience of getting rewarded a lot nicer, because you're not only getting one of two things, you know. Makes it a little bit more interesting. So, and because the game is sort of gonna play into that, to have a lot of secrets that you can find and, you know, get rewarded for it, and solving puzzles, you know, then that whole bit, it makes a lot of sense to have that. And yeah, so let's see. So what should we start with that now? So I did write a little bit down here. Village, like crafting. I'm thinking it's probably gonna be sort of like a crafting station in the village. So you have to go out, gather ingredients. You get back to the village. You can do, because I want some sort of incentive to go back to the village to do stuff. It's kind of like you're out adventuring, you come back, and then you can, you know, do a whole bunch of stuff there. So that's kind of one of the loops that I want to have. And so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have some sort of usable item, like a health potion or something. So that I'm thinking about what you could have with that. So I mean, we could just use, because there are, you know, there are a bunch of plants growing in the forest and stuff. So you could just go out and gather those. Maybe like you hit the blueberry or whatever, it's gonna drop a blueberry that you can pick up or something like that. So you get a little bit more also like interaction or something like that. Raspberries as well. Like you get raspberry and blueberry, and then you mix those to get a health potion or something like that. You know, just like in Valheim, except, you know, it's like a common jam type. The Queen's jam is like, it's in the stores in Sweden. So and it's like blueberry and raspberry, I believe. Yes. So yeah, maybe like expanding the village a little bit would be the focus today. And adding, I mean, we have chests now, so we can just, and we have like the means of adding secrets everywhere, so we can just start doing that. I want to get the system in for, I guess, having, I mean, we sort of have inventory already. So I'm gonna add like crafting ingredients. We could also add the UI, the menu for the UI, for the menu there, for like ingredients. And then we also need some sort of like the whole crafting thing. But I think that's gonna be like as I said, like a crafting station in the village. You go over there, either it's a dude or someone you talk to, or it's just gonna be a station that you go to. Maybe you have. I mean, the lore is that you do have your own house. You do live in the village, so you will go to the village. Maybe you go into your house and do the crafting there or something. I don't know. Or you give the ingredients to someone else who makes the stuff because, yeah, they know how to do it or something like that. So yeah, that could be. My chair is starting to acting up here. It's like it slouches on one side and on the other it's okay. Anyway, time for a new chair, maybe. Anyway, so yeah, but I think that fits really well into the kind of game that I want to make. As I said, like a lot of secrets, a lot of variance in rewards. Even, you know, monster drops could be sort of, each monster could have a random chance of dropping one of like the ingredients that you can then craft to get like health potions and whatever. I think also to just make health potions maybe not like overpowered or whatever. I'm thinking that I'm gonna have, because the whole vibe of the game is gonna be, you know, sort of a little bit old school 8-bit vibe. So I'm not gonna do like, you know, Breath of the Wild where you have like infinite. Technically, you could have like infinite food items that you can just consume to continue the fight. It's more gonna be, okay, you have to learn the fight. You have to. It's sort of like old school, but it's gonna also have like, you know, reasonable save points and stuff like that. So, but you can bring in probably, I don't know. It's gonna have to be balanced, but I mean, I'm thinking like 3 health potions or something like that. Maybe 3 of each sort of usable item or something like that, and then you go to the village and you stock up on those using your ingredients. But when you're out in the wilds, that's what you get. And there's also gonna be like fast travel, I think. I mean, it kind of depends maybe on the size of the map. Like, if the size doesn't change from what it is now, then maybe we don't even have fast travel. But I think probably the size is gonna like almost double, maybe even more in size, because right now it just feels like a very, very small level. Like how, like if I just play this, if I just play from start to finish here, we'll time it and see how long it takes. Now granted, I do have the charge attack, so maybe I'll disable that. Oops. So I think maybe we'll has double jump. So this is sort of, I'm gonna say this is the upgrades. So we have double jump, and that's basically what we have right now as an upgrade. Has charge attack. Alright, so we need to figure out where we check this here. Oops, that was not correct. Is charge full? Wait, where is the thing? Can charge, I guess. Yeah, if self has charge and everything else makes sense. Alright, so if that's whatever is gonna govern that, then that's pretty easy to implement. I can't charge. Great. Alright, so let's just time this. We'll start at the village here. Clock is 12:41 where I am right now. And I'm not gonna use the combo attack. I'm just gonna try and finish this the quickest I can. To get some sort of goalpost, or yeah, some sort of, you know, relative time. I'm gonna not kill every monster on the screen, but I'm gonna, you know, defeat the ones that are in front of me. Not take too much time out from the main path. I may even increase the number of hits those the Cleat take. They take 6 hits right now, these ones, but it almost feels too little. Maybe double actually, because then you also have like, once you get the charge attack and maybe, you know, even damage upgrade. Whoa. It will also feel like you start out weak and then it feels like you're actually doing some progress, because I feel like that is very important as well. You actually get good rewards for progressing in the game, and you feel like you're getting stronger and your character gets better. And then you get to defeat more and more stronger monsters and so on. Yeah, those flying monsters really feel like some sort of old school ghost type. Alright, so 2 minutes have passed. So that does not feel... I mean, I can clock however long it takes to get to the first boss. Well, basically we enter the dungeon after 2 or 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And you know, in here is gonna be more things as well, like right now it's bare bones, but you get up here, you get the upgrade, you solve some sort of puzzle, and maybe fight some larger monster, go down again. Now you have the upgrade. And then you go maybe around to explore over here. Solve this puzzle here. All right. And yeah, there's gonna be more puzzles, so it's gonna, you know, it's gonna take a little bit longer in here, but yeah, let's just see. I'm not gonna fight this. Oh shit. And probably the monsters in here are gonna change. here's the boss. So that took like 5 minutes to get to the first boss right now. So yeah, it's not a lot right now. Why did I do that? Well, I guess we have a little bit of interesting. They could. I mean, I could just put this in time to beat here. And this is today. It took 5 minutes to reach first boss. It would be interesting to see how long this increases. It could also be that, okay, we add a bunch of features and we can see, okay, how long. I don't know. Just keeping a track of that, maybe. All right, so cool. Now let's go back to player. So we want to add a way to have items. So here's the inventory. Right now we only have gems. Let's add crafting ingredients. Let's actually put those in a separate struct, maybe. Crafting. Because I want to be able to sort of loop through all the ingredients, like, you know, have a separate area for those in like the UI and stuff. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the area. So let's just add like blueberries and raspberries. We'll start with those. Okay, and then we're gonna have sort of usable items. Health potion. And this could, you know, we can change the name later and stuff. Okay. Yeah, they're all small, one word there, I think. Do I want to make the UI first for that so we can see that we actually have it? Maybe. Let's remove this log or debug. Yeah. Right. So we only have a quest log right now, so we have to add inventory. Yeah, let's call it inventory. Wait. Oh, this is already okay. I guess inventory menu. And yeah, I've got to connect here. Inventory menu. So what would we have here? Well, let's just start with nothing for now. Maybe you can sort of select different, go to different sort of items. I'm thinking like having a grid type menu where if there's an icon for each item. All right. Inventory. All right. So now we have the input there, but for now I think we don't do anything with that. Here we have like handle lists where you can cancel. Probably want to have something set like almost like this, except it's not a list, it's like a grid instead, with sort of like a details window that shows maybe, you know, where you hover over an item and you see sort of the details or description or whatever. All right. Wait. So that's the input. Where's the draw stuff for this? Here's draw. All right, here we go. So inventory, and we draw inventory. Oops. All right. So if we look at quest log, we have a title, which is just drawn. Yeah, it's just drawn straight up as a text. There's no box around it or anything like that. And then let's see, we have a list as well. So we don't really have a way to draw like a grid, and there's no really graphics for it. But what I'm thinking, I'm just gonna draw, and we don't even have icons, you know. But I'm just gonna draw a box, so you can see that there's something there, and then maybe draw some text inside just to see what item it is. Yeah. Let's see, and in here we can see more like how you would draw a box here, draw bordered, rectangle. Well, I guess we can use that, but I think this is going to be around the whole thing and not each item. But let's just take that for now, and we will. Alright, I think we probably need some stuff here. Okay. The inventory. How do we actually get... Yeah, we have the quest container to get the state of those quests to be able to draw it, but for the inventory we actually need a player component. So I'm just grab this here. All right. I guess we have a title. We can say just inventory, subtitle. We don't have a subtitle. And then let's see, top center. Why do we need top center? I guess it's for this. Yeah, let's just see what this becomes. And then we draw text. Current. Oh, this is just for the description. Okay, yeah. So this is for the quest description. Let's do this, because now we do have sort of like well, we can do inline 4, and then we can say we can loop through all the fields in the inventory. Where is that? it's here, and then right, so I guess we have to import it. Right, so we're going through the fields on inventory.crafting ingredients. So these are the ingredients. They could be kind of sectioned off. You have one for the ingredients and one for the usables or consumables or whatever you want to call it. So you get the field. Let's call this ingredients instead. Maybe there's a sub menu. I'm not sure how I want it to be structured. We'll see. We can always change it later as well. So we'll go through each of those, and I'm not sure how we want to do this, because like if we have an ingredient, do we want to show it? Like, I don't know. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna filter out those that are 0. So if the amount is gonna be field access on play component inventory. Oh yeah, we also need to instantiate. We also need like ingredients and consumables or usable items. Consumables. Is it gonna be consumables or usable items? It's like, if technically usable items could be, yeah, let's call it usables or whatever, because it's like, yeah, consumables implies that they can be destroyed, which might not be the case. So I'm just gonna say that. Oops. Okay. So now we have that state. So now we can access that here. So this would be ingredients, and the field is going to be field of name. Right. So that is the amount of that ingredient. We might also say have something. Well, actually, we could have a separate thing. Like I was thinking for maximum allowed stuff. Well, this could be like a usable item. Which is like amount right now, like current amount. And max. So that each item can have its separate, because you might get like an upgrade where, oh, now you're able to carry more health potions or whatever. But I think for ingredients, it's not gonna have a maximum. I think ingredient, well, we might have a maximum ingredients is gonna be like, I don't know, 999 or something like this. Just so it doesn't get like ridiculous and the UI is not crammed by a bunch of numbers. But anyway, so let's see. That's the amount. Well, the ingredients is just the ingredients was not like a different structure, so that's just the amount straight up. And then we can say if amount is more than 0 or is equal to 0, then we continue. So if we don't have the item, we will not print it out here. But if we do have the item, we are going to draw it, so, or include it in here. So then we're gonna say, well, we're gonna make a rectangle. So I don't remember how this worked, but we'll just do something here. So let's have this here. So position, it's gonna be something, anchor position, top center plus 3. Let's do top left. And then we're gonna have to keep track of our index. Right, and so x is gonna be I modded by, you know, the maximum number of grid items. I'm gonna choose just 6 here. And then y is gonna be this is going to be floor of I over 6. So we're going to have like cells per row. It's going to be 6. All right. And then this, yeah, we'll see. Actually, I think we need to, well, actually, this is more like div truncating or div floor. Yeah. And then you do this. Okay. All right, and then the position is going to be this plus, I guess we'll add 3 as like an offset. Only y 3. So offset, and then the grid position is going to be x and y. There we go. And then the size, yeah, I'm just gonna say 4x4 for now. We'll see how good that will be. And probably the position needs to be then, this needs to be like times the size, probably. Okay. And so here we'll have position. Okay, we'll just try something here and we'll see where it ends up, and then we need to draw some text, which is gonna be, so yeah, so we need both the sort of icon, which is for now just gonna be the text, and then we also need the number. So I'm gonna do 2 draw texts. Top left, sure, why not? And this is gonna be, I'm just gonna say field.name, but then we take just the, you know, first 3 letters or something. 4, because it's gonna be blue and rasp. And then this is gonna be the amount. Oops. No. And this could be like below the actual rectangle, so we could do bottom left plus 1 there. Okay, there we go. Local constant size, outer scope, right? So let's remove these things. Right, and this as well. Okay, now, wait, is this not used? Oh yeah, because we don't have any state yet there. Okay, yeah. So, but now we need to actually, let's have 1 as max at the start. Okay, so now we need to wait. What's this? Comp time control flow inside runtime block. Right, depending on the thing. Okay. Why is this a well? What if we put this in a function that we call draw item, draw ingredient cell, right, and we need an amount, we need the name, I think that's it. And the index. I see either the index or the. Oh, we need registry as well. Let's do X and Y, I guess. And so we'll move. Well, no, let's do index. Amount and all right. Is this still a problem? What if we say if it's more than 0, we actually do this? Is that a problem? No? Okay, well this I guess is a problem. So ICU size, let's say that this is now well actually this should be F32, so float from int. No field named this in. Oh. Okay, so we have the beginnings here. Now we need a way to actually change the current menu. And we don't really have that. This is the handle input function, which is called somewhere. Yeah, here's the update function, which is called every frame. And so then we say, okay, handle input, which should exit menu is a thing. Is menu input on? What we need is this should really be in handle input actually. Yeah, it's weird that we have this here. So let's actually just put this. Well, okay, we need this to know if we, okay. Yeah, but we can move this into handle input because, yeah, that's basically what we're doing in this update function. All right. So we don't need to check this. We just call handle input. We don't return. We can move this into here though. So it's like if. Wait. now we switch on that. Then we also say should exit is equal to this. And if we should exit, then we do this. But otherwise, well, here we check if the menu is not open, we play a sound, we also do this. So we have the logic for opening and closing basically the menu here, which is input related, you know, but we also play a sound, I guess, fine. Because we're in the menu, it should be fine. Okay, and then we also call these, so this should only be happening if we're actually in the menu. So we check if we are in the menu, and then we do this. And if we should exit, then we exit. Yeah. All right. So we changed a little bit on how that works, but that should be fine. And let's see, game. Oh shit. Okay, we actually need game. So let's get rid of this, and we don't need you. So we only put game in there. Yeah, I'm still contemplating when I should just throw around the game instead of throwing around, you know, registry and bunch of shit everywhere. If I should instead just have got you know, stuck with passing game instead everywhere, because it has a little bit of extra context that is nice to have. Also, when, you know, doing things like pause and pause, you have to pass game in. And yeah. Well, I guess technically we could change this to not require game. We could put stuff in the registry. Whatever state is needed for pausing and unpausing, we could put that in the registry, so we don't actually need the game construct there. But yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna change that right now. But it's you know, it's nice when you have a consistent pattern that you, because this kind of breaks the pattern a little bit, passing game in like this. So either it's like, okay, I always want to pass game, or I just pass in the registry and get things from there. Okay, so and the reason for that is because you get tripped up like I did right now. It's like it takes extra time to know, okay, how we're gonna mesh these two patterns together. If we only have one pattern, then it flows, your sort of productivity flows better. If you have different patterns kind of fighting each other, then there's gonna be a bunch of friction all the time that you have to sort of, okay, but what do I use here? Do I use the other one, or this pattern, or that pattern, or this pattern? So it's like, stick with one pattern for that, and it will be a lot smoother experience. Okay, so now we have sort of refactored this. I'm just gonna start and see if the menu still works. I don't have any quests right now, but yeah, I mean, it still works, opening and canceling out and stuff. So I'm just gonna say it works. Okay, so now we need a way to sort of change the main sort of memory, or I mean menu. So how would we do that? Well, I'm gonna say sort of the trigger buttons could change the menu, and later could have something like an interface, a graphical interface where you actually see where you are. Holy shit, man, this chair is living in its last legs here. I almost fell down here. Wow, what is going on? Okay. I think I had to just straighten out its back or something. Now it seems to be more rigid. There we go. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I'm thinking, but right now I'm just gonna say the trigger buttons. So we don't really have a place for that, so I'm just gonna put it right here. Now it's only gonna happen if the menu is actually open. So I'm gonna say over here, where we do handle switch, I guess main menu or something like that, or well, main menu is bad because that's, you know, that's when you, well, actually maybe it is the main menu. Well, the main menu I usually, I don't know, it's kind of different how I think about. I think about the main menu. I think about, you know, the title menu when you start the game. That's the main menu. And then in the game, that's like the in-game menu. Okay, I'm just gonna call this in-game menu or something. Switch in-game menu. And I will say, yeah, just well, I guess menu state is what you need. So play component menu. Handle switch in-game menu. Oops. Menu. Maybe play component. Menu state. Right. So here we will. We also need like input state, I guess. Actually, you know what? Let's just pass in the registry, and it will handle it itself. All right. So now we will say is left trigger on consume okay, we need new mappings here, so I'm gonna say in-game menu left, in-game menu right. Well, this is kind of, I guess, switch left and switch right. So we're switching the menu, because left and right just implies that, you know, you're just pressing left or right. Here we're switching the menus. Okay, and we need more. This is gonna be, let's see where it's gonna be here. Yeah. So in-game left and right. Yeah, and we can say, you can also do this, sort. Oh. Wait, which accept is up here? Yeah, of course. Okay. All right, so left and right. So this will be left trigger 1, I think, and right trigger 1. All right. That's it. Now we can go. I really like this system here. It's really easy to add new sort of actions, map them here. Well, I get there. This is a little bit of friction because we're keeping them alphabetically sorted, and here you have to keep the same. It has to be the exact same order, because otherwise it's going to be a wrong mapping. But once we have it, then you can just use this action here, which is really nice. Is right trigger on, or I guess this could be called is switch left on and is switch right on. So we have the names. The names will match the action and not the like the button. Okay. So what now? Right, so we will just say if is switch left on. So let's do this. Var I equals to let's see, we have player component, menu, current menu. Yes, so we have these things. So this is an enum, whatever. This is like a union enum, yeah. And so what we need is we need to find which index is this from. So we can do enum int from enum. And now this is not an enum, but it is, well, it is a union enum. So I'm not sure if this converts an enumeration value into integer tag type when a tagged unions past the tagged values used in enum. Okay, cool. So we don't need to convert it into the enum value, so we can just take that. So that's really nice. So now we have the integer there, and what we'll do is we'll say if left is on and well, we can say I is equal to maximum 0, and then because we're gonna assume that, you know, we're not assigning special numbers to these enums, so we can just assume that it goes from 0, 1 up 2, 3 and so forth. So it's going to be a finite consecutive natural numbers starting from 0. I tried to do a mathematical description there. Okay, so this is going to be I minus 1. So we're taking I minus 1, but we are also saying max of 0. So I'm not sure if this makes like int from enum, what this produce, like what type does it produce, an unsigned or a integer tag type? I think the default is like unsigned something. So this could be an overflow error. So I'm just gonna do this. Actually, you know what? Minus equals 1. So this will overflow. The overflow behavior is gonna be that it's 0 right now. Okay. So if it's already 0, you do minus this, it's gonna be 0 still. So nothing will happen there. All right, and then we'll check if the other one is on, and then we'll do the same thing. However, now it's gonna wrap around, not wrap around. It's gonna, well, maybe we do want to wrap around actually. No, this is gonna be the minimum of enum. Is there like max? Values. What is this? Values. Returns a set of all named values and given enum in declaration order. Named values. Values from fields. Looks up supplied fields and the given enum type. Use only the field names, field values are ignored. The result array is the same order as the input. So it takes a type and then some fields. Oh, so you can have like a subset of the fields if you want to, and then you get a result back. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. I've never seen this pattern actually. So you create, okay. So you create this array and set it to undefined. So you have an array of a specific size that you know the field's length. Right, and the fields can be any length, it could be 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then you have this here, so you do the address of result to get a pointer into the current item, and then you go through the field. I've never seen this pattern. This is very interesting. So I would have used an index here, but this is very cool. I mean, I'm saying what I would have used with my my current sort of knowledge and experience with Zig. I would have used to solve this problem. I would have used like an integer or an index. I mean, all right, cool. Okay, yeah, and so you just set the thing to the enum from int f.value, right? Values from fields, values. So you get the tags. Okay, so this is not possible, I guess, if you have, yeah, a union. So this won't be possible. So what we need is meta.tags here. So I'm gonna also say tags is the tags of menu, this menu here. And so this is gonna be length of tags minus 1 is the maximum that we can be, and then we say I plus 1, and I'm gonna use the overflow protection there just in case. That's not gonna happen, but you know, I don't know. Actually, I don't know which this might be. Actually, be like it could be like a U1, U2, depending on the size of the enum actually. So it actually could be feasible to use this here. Anyway, now we're safe, so it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so yeah, going to the left is easy because we know that the endpoint is 0 there. Going to the right is harder because now we don't really know how much. Well, we do know because it's the tags.length, but we have to sort of use that information here. But it's nice that we can actually use it. So yeah, I really like that about Zig. You can actually reason about these enums in the code like this. What is happening here? Oh, no, this is plus. This is just like this. Yeah, you can't assign like that. Okay. Right, so then what we do is we say now we need we're gonna say that the resulting tag is gonna be enum from int I. Now this is a union enum, so we have to actually create the thing as well. But I think what we'll do is we'll just say if tag is not equal to create component menu current menu. If it's different, then we will switch to the new menu. So you know what we'll do? Actually, I think the menus are gonna keep the state. Like if you go into the same menu back and forth, maybe it will keep the, yeah. I'm not gonna do it right now, but it is something you could do maybe in the future where the state actually keeps the same. So what you could do is move this part. This part is actually just a tag of the menu, and then you have like the menu state, which is the, so this is just the tag of menu, and then the menu state is all of the tags in here. So or all of the types that, like, instead of this being a union, it's actually a struct. And then this would be sort of the field. This could be a field enum of the menu instead. And so this is now quest. Right. And the state is that, and then these are this. Right. Okay, I guess I'm doing it right now. I'm just showing. It's not that hard to do. Okay, and then what's this? Oh yeah. So this is current menu. So we get the tag, but yeah, actually we'll do this field menu state, and then tag name as, right? No, but it is comp time now. I guess, do we need this to be comp time here? Is that possible? Like, this is how, okay. I know there's a way to do this. Maybe here? or in here. What? Okay, it needs to be inline, I guess. It feels unnecessary, but I mean, yeah. Because it's like, why not make it comp time? Like, anytime something can be comp time, why not make it comp time, you know? Okay. Well, that seems to work. Okay. Enum from it must have a result. No, yeah. Okay. So this will be the menu state menu. Well, this will be the field eline of that. We can also say type of play component menu, current menu. Oops. Yeah. All right. Still an issue here. Right. Okay. So same thing here. And we should really have, you know, we should have this as a some sort of function that does this instead, but I'm just gonna force this in here right now, and there we go. Pointer. There we go. All right. So now the only thing remaining is actually switching this out. So if it's not equal, then we set it to be equal, and we don't really even need this if we could just set it to be equal. All right. And now we don't need to do. Well, we don't do tags. What we do is we say, let's do type of, well, let's do menu tags equals to type of play component, menu, current menu, and tags is then tags of menu tags. And this is menu tags. Actually, we can just set this directly here. You know, from it. All right. Okay. So, I mean, technically now we should be able to switch the menus here. There we go. We can switch the menus. Awesome. Except we don't see anything. So what I will do is I will just cheat a little bit. Add some inventory here to the player. So I'm gonna add 1 to both. And we'll see what that looks like. Okay, we don't see anything. Right. All right, well, we have the basic stuff working. Okay. So what's happening here? We are looping through the fields of this, and then we are getting the amount from the ingredients. Oh, I think I know what's going on actually, because the inventory is actually saved here. So we're actually saving the inventory. So what I will do is I will, I'm just gonna delete the save. Okay. So now we should have, there we go. Okay. And there we go. Now we can see that we have 1 blueberry and 1 raspberry. Cool. Okay. so we have a way of seeing our inventory. We have a way of storing it. I'm gonna try now as well. Let's remove the save file and change the blueberry to 0, because then the raspberry should show up in the same grid position as it did before. So it's going to be at the second position there. Yeah, cool. All right, let's set this back to 0. Now we know it works. And what else do we want to do? Yeah, we need to add those as items. I'm gonna see if I have them in the editor here. It doesn't really matter that much, but I just want to see. I think I did add something here. Maybe not actually. No. But it would be nice to have something here because, yeah, like animations at least. So I think I'm gonna add animation for blueberry. No, not that type. Animation. Blueberry. And do we have a texture for this? Did I add that? Oh, we have items. Oh, but that's just these ones. I don't think I actually added this in. Alright, let's see if I can find this. What did I call it? Environment? No. That's something else. Wait, I'm pretty sure I had a texture with some blueberry and other things. There's items, but that does not include it. I should probably add it to items. But I do have tile set. In the tile set, I can just copy the graphics from there. We don't have raspberries though, so I have to add that. Okay, I can't find that. Okay. I'll just do some quick gimping here. Let's do items. Or maybe it was just a consumables, right? Consumables. Okay, yeah, so I did add it here. Or I did have it, I just never exported it. Consumables. No, I have to wait. No, I have to add it. That's right. That is right. Consumables. There we go. Okay, so now we have the consumables, and we will use that there. And so we will just say idle or something. There we go. And there's our blueberry. Now I don't have one for raspberry. I guess I could just draw one real quick. is in black, right? Or is it? Yes, it is. I thought it looked more bluish. I'll just do a quick, you know, these are most of the graphics right now are placeholder in a way, so I just want something there, you know, something to get some sort of idea of what it is. Like this doesn't really look like maybe like a Raspberry, but whoops, that was way too, oh, that was hard to get like a, okay. Yeah, this looks weird. Yeah, but I mean, as I said, it's not really that important. Okay, you just have to believe that that is a Raspberry for now. All right, so okay, let's go back and create an animation for that. Raspberry. Technically, we could use the same, reuse, like have one animation sort of file to group together all these, but I'm gonna create one for each Raspberry. There we go. Okay, so now we have Raspberry, we have Blueberry. Do we need to create... We don't really need to create entity types for those in here, although we could, and probably maybe should, but we could also just have them in the game as entities. And make them sort of, I mean, we could even, you know, randomly make them drop from monsters if we want as well. So if we go to the game code and we'll go to scene entity types, we'll just add, so here we can now add Blueberry and Raspberry. And we'll just wait for the compiler errors to pop up. All right, here I'm gonna copy this behavior because we don't have properties to read for those. Now here we want to do something like this, Blueberry and Raspberry, and we want to add them here. All right. I'm gonna keep them as one name. I'm not sure what is how it's actually spelled, and I don't care to Google it right now. Blueberry. And Raspberry. Alright, now we need to create those files. Let's copy this one and Blueberry. And let's replace small gem with Blueberry. Okay. And here we also add blueberry and raspberry. It's probably better to have them as different animation things, because now we can use sort of the same pattern, like the idle animation or whatever. Yeah, so if we go to items, actually, where's the animation thing? Oh yeah, spawn. Huh. Spawn animations. So that's interesting. Okay, let's go. Let's actually open the editor and check out the animation for the small gem. So we have idle, spawn, and death. Right. So I think, I mean, we could keep to the same pattern because it's sort of generic. So let's rename this to idle like this. And then we also have spawn. So we kind of know that, okay, if we're gonna make an item, we're gonna just, you know, have the same same pattern here for all of them. And then we have death for when you actually pick it up. I guess the name could be pick up instead of death, but anyway. Yeah, so we pick it up. Yeah. I guess the duration could be like 0. I'm not sure if that's gonna be like a divide by zero error somewhere, but oh wait, I named this raspberry. That was weird. New animation, spawn. It's gonna be the same thing, and death. Okay. Make sure they are saved there. All right. So now we don't really need to do anything with. Yeah, we automatically go to idle after the spawn is done. And so yeah, that's generic for all items. And so the only thing different is like what happens when we pick it up, basically. And I think for items other than gems, picking up is gonna be, you have to pick it up with A, I think. Or I mean, yeah, that's like a Nintendo button I'm thinking of, like the right button or the pick up button or accept button. But yeah, let's see what. So if we go to small gem, actually, what do we do with this? We do pick up gem amount. Okay, so this pickup thing, pickup type, is different here. So let's just say blueberry. Yeah, pick up blueberry. This feels way overcomplicated for what it actually is. It should just, you know, we know it's a gem, so we should just increase the gem. I mean, it should really just be a tag, and it increases a number in a map from that tag to a number, something like that. And then we can also apply generic behavior where you have maximum, stuff like that. But apply pickup, I mean, it is very generic, I guess, in the sense that you have a function that can do whatever. But really, this is very simple, and it feels like we're adding a lot of stuff just for a very simple thing. But let's do it for now, and we will find some sort of pattern later for this. I mean, this is technically a pattern right now, but we can improve it over time. All right, so there we go, and then we get the play component. We will say ingredients. What's happening? What is happening? Oh. Ingredients, blueberries, there we go. And then we can do the same thing for raspberry. All right, and then we need to add this here. There we go. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. The system for the monster AI is way worse than this. And I dread for the time when I actually need to go in and add a new monster. It's not really that big of a deal. It's just that there's a lot of places you have to fill in stuff. And if you want to do something out of the box, you have to sort of get into the system and learn it again to be able to know, okay, the stening monster, for example, is very different. So the idea is that it takes more time to get into the system. If you have a more complex system, it takes more time to go into it. That's why I was like immediately put off by this. Like I was thinking like, okay, we have an item, we pick it up, we should just increase it by 1, and then maybe have some generic behavior around that. But it's really like, okay, you can have this function that does anything basically. And it could be that sometimes you want specialized things to happen, but that can all be handled anyway. So I think it's better to sort of make this super generic. Like even like having this could be more like, okay, we're picking, like you could have like this, pick up resource, and then you have this is actually a function that takes a tag, which is the tag of whatever item you need to do. So this is like an item type or resource type or something like that. So item resource type. So pick up resource, item resource type. And then the item resource type is like, well, it's either, so this is an enum, right? So it's either a gem or it's a blueberry or it's a raspberry. And then you can talk about this very generic, and then we return this type. We have like amount, let's say, and now we can also have apply pickup, which is a generic over all these types, right? So you can still have this apply pickup pattern, but now self is gonna be this, and instead of doing this, we can say play component inventory dot increase resource or something like that, and then the resource tag is going to be the tag, and then the amount is going to be self.amount. So you can do something like this instead to more generally do it. And if you want something to be specific for a specific type of resource, then you can you know, you can just switch on the tag and then say, okay, if it's a gem, then we do some other stuff, you know. So this is a way to more, and then instead of doing these things, what you say is here instead is just pick up resource gem, pick up resource blueberry, you know, pick up resource raspberry. Now it's not all this. It's not all, you know, a dance on roses for this though either, because as soon as you want to do something that is a little bit out of the box, you sort of either have to make a separate system for it, or you have to expand on the existing system, and that can be depending. I mean, this system is super simple, so it's like it's not really a huge deal, but it is something that you have to look out for. But I think that this is way much easier now to add new things, especially for these things that when you know it's probably gonna be super simple and you're just adding a new item that you can pick up like this. And so now we can move this into our inventory system, and we can say, yeah, now we have a item resource type, and here we can have a function that is item resource type, increase resource, or increase is kind of bad. We want something that is like add resource. It can go plus and negative, I guess. And this is going to be like self inventory. Resource type is item resource type, and amount is I32 because it can be negative. And so yeah, and that becomes what it is. And then we just switch on the resource type, and if it's a gem, we say the gem plus equals you know, inventory gems, no, amount, that's right. And we can even have this to protect against, you know, going negative. And then well, we don't want to do an int cast, I guess. I'm not sure how Sig does this actually, if this works. What's going on here? Enum field is missing now. Like this. Like, does it actually or is it able to coerce this, or I guess make this work here? Because it's an I32. So we don't want to coerce this into an unsigned, because then you lose the negative. Okay, and then if it's a blueberry, we do ingredients, blueberries plus equal. And you can even, you know, if you don't want to do this all manually also, we can even, like this resource type is kind of spans over all the things. What you could do is you can have resource type could be just gem, right? And then you can have what is it? Crafting. So ingredient type, item ingredient type. I'm just gonna try this pattern actually. So those are those, and then usable item usable types. Type is a health potion. All right, and then we have item type. So this is now a union enum. I'm gonna try this out. I never tried this pattern here. All right, so we have resource, which is a item resource type. So it can be either one of these now. So now we kind of, and the reason why we want to do it like this is because we can group them now. Usable. Yeah. So now we can sort of, oh, hey Chillgao, how's it going? Welcome. So now we can sort of group the items. That's kind of my idea here. So we're grouping the different types of items, so we can talk about them, but we still have this common type that we can use to speak about all the different items, but we can group them as well. So now if we look at this, this is an item type instead, And we can just say, I guess, add item. And this is an item type. And then the number. And then we can say, okay, what type of item is this? Is this a resource? Then we get the resource out. And now we can actually use this because what we can say, instead of keeping them like this, we can say resources. And now we can keep this as a map from like an enum map. I wonder if there's a thing in standard for this. How are you doing? Chill guy, how's it going? And I'm just gonna see if there's a way to sort of have a map here. What is this? Direct enum array. What does this mean? Initializes an array of data which can be indexed by... Oh, so you can probably use this then. This is sort of like a map, I think. Yeah. Indexed by int cast usize int from enum. Yeah. So, yes, this should be... Okay. If the enum is non-exhaustive, the resulting array would only be large enough to hold all explicit fields. If the enum contains any fields with values that cannot be represented by usize, a compile error is issued. The max unused slots parameter limits. Okay, so I'm saying here that you can use this as a map from enum as long as the enum like sort of fits into the pattern here, which it should be, because we're not using any fancy weird stuff. So you're fine. How are you? Yeah, I'm doing very good. I'm learning about game development and the Zig program language, which is fun. Are you a developer as well? Let's see, direct enum array. So yeah, so I'm gonna use this as a map from the enum to something else, which is, this is really nice actually. Really nice find. I recently learned about this standard library here. Alright, so I'm just gonna check out what it's doing. Yeah, so we're getting a length and the result. And data is something here. Right, that's the common type that you want to store, which for us will be, well, it's gonna be some sort of item state, I guess. So let's have an amount and let's have a max. All right. Okay. It's gonna be interesting to see, because now, yeah, we have to sort of set the default stuff. I guess we can do it in an init function. Yeah, there's a little excursion took a little, like a turn here, but it's fun to explore this. This is part of why I'm doing this, also to learn more about the program language and making a better decisions about the data structures and stuff. All right, initializes an array there. Yeah. So the first one is the enum type. This would be the item. Well, this would be the item, the resource type. The data is going to be item state, and then max unused slots. So what is that used for? We are returning here, we're returning max value plus 1. That is determined by that's the maximum use size. Okay, so it's just negating U size there, 0 U size to get the maximum. We're going through all the fields. If the values less than right, so it's checking the field, like the enum sort of values. Oh, maximum value, right? Because that corresponds to the index. That's right. Okay. So it's checking what the max value is. Okay, so the max value is the length, right? And then we're saying, okay, if we want unused slots, I'm not sure how this works. Unused slot is max value plus 1 minus fields.length. All right, that's the same number as, okay, so that's gonna be 0 if we're just passing a vanilla thing. Are you using NeoVim? Yes, this is NeoVim. Let's see, unused slots is more than max. So it should be 0. So if we just pass that as 0, that should be fine, I think. All right, I'm not sure what to think about that, but I'm pretty sure we just say 0 here. And then the init values. Oh, we can do that as well. Okay, so what is this? Oh, the enum fields, right? So we can do like an initial value as well. Well, actually, we don't need. We can just do this, and then we can populate it as we want. Well, I guess we can do this. So gem is this, and then the max is gonna be equal to resource item max, or max resource amount. Where did I put that? Max ingredients? No. I'm just gonna put this here. Max resource amount. Sure. Why not? Okay. And that should be good. Cool. And then we can now we can use this to get the resources. We don't really need you. So how would this work? No. This would be, I will set this to equal that. That's right. And it would be, the result is what? Is this? Okay. I recently installed NeoVim on WSL. Yeah, that's what I'm using as well. And managing these plugins was real confusing for me. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. It's a little bit hacky, I guess, if you compare it to Visual Code, Visual Studio Code. Is it called Visual Studio Code? Yeah. That just has an built-in system for it. NeoVim doesn't really have like that, so you have to use, I mean, either manually installing the plugins or using, I mean, I think most people use something like I'm using lazy. What's it called? Lazy something. Lazy. Yeah, it's just called lazy. This one. And I sort of follow the instructions, get it. Are you using any kind of plugin manager like that? Wait, no, this doesn't return a type. This just returns the thing. Okay, yeah. All right. It's a little bit different from what I've been using before, but okay. All right. Let's also move this out. I guess we'll do this for now, I guess. And then you will not be... Okay, let's do this here. Let's say... Excuse me. So this would be the same thing here. So we'll just say... we'll take you. Oops. Actually, we can just say item map, and we'll get a T for or E for enum, and we'll just return this type here, because that's the only thing that's actually changing. So this is will be item map for item resource types. This will be item. Oops, this needs to be type. I need to return this. I tried to install Lazy with the help of ChatGPT and went horribly. Okay. Right. Yeah. Do you have an experience in Lua or any other programming language or scripting or anything? Because you're gonna that's what you're gonna do when trying to configure it. Or I think, yeah, there's also, like, I've never used it myself, but it's there are sort of pre-built packages you can use that automatically come with a bunch of plugins, and it's already configured and ready to use. Okay, and now this would be ingredient type, and this would be usable type. All right, now we have those, and this is resource items. We can also, let's see, if I copy this, I'll make a function as well. Create item map. Right, I will just need the values. Actually, let's do comp time, like default max amount. Oops, we don't really need this? Well, yes, we do. Well, no, we don't need you. We can say, well, this is gonna be item map E. Oops. And the init values is going to be this type. Okay, and we'll set it to undefined. The data is an item state. And then we do an inline for. So now we can sort of populate this generally here. So we'll do item 4, and then we're gonna do fields E. And init values, well, it's going to be field of init value, field of name, and it's going to be equal to this, and then max is set to default max amount. There we go. And then we can just set that in there. This can be item state, and this is all right. So now we can, instead of doing all this crap, we can say create item map, type is resource items, and this is that. And that's the only information we need to differentiate this. And this would be ingredients, type. No, this is resource type, and max amount is max resource amount, max ingredient amount, and we'll say max, like the default max usable amount is 1. Now I might be going ahead, going a bit ahead here from like implementing this when it's very much in the start here. But I feel like this is gonna be such a simple system that it's probably fine to do this. And it's also, I'm just, you know, practicing a little bit of the constructs in the language and stuff. I never used Lua or anything like that. I'm currently trying to learn Rust. I think it's a fun language for me, at least. Okay, cool. So, but okay. So, have you any other programming languages experience? Because Rust is kind of, I would say Rust is probably a pretty hard language to learn if it's your first language. It's not impossible, but I wouldn't recommend it for the first one, but I mean, you do you. If you're motivated enough, and you can do anything. Let's see. Okay, cool. So now we have a more generic way to talk about these different types of items. We also have, you know, a way to talk about all of them as well, because we can pass an item type to talk about any type of item here. And all the items have the basic structure, the same structure with the amount and maximum amount as well. So yes, very, very, very good. And in the future, like if we need more state in some of the items, we could use another system to, like, we don't really need to use the same map type of map to, like, let's say we have well, we could have some sort of dynamic, like, let's say you want more state here to have some sort of dynamic item that can change stats or something like that. Well, we'll see how we'll fit that in. It's probably gonna be require a lot more different structure, but we'll start here for these kind of simple items that you're just gathering, and then may also use just increase, decrease their amount is basically what we're trying to do. But okay, let's start here now. So we've got this resource type, and well, this is actually the item type, and if it's a resource, we get the resource out here, and now this is a resource type. So what we can do with this now is we can say self.resources, and this is going to be int from enum r, and this is basically just a coercion, I think. Yeah, because the underlying type is an int, so we're just coercing with no sort of conversion cost, I don't think, into this array and as an index, and then we can say the amount is gonna be plus equals this amount here, and let's use the overload operator there, or yeah, no, overflow, and then yeah, okay, that seems to work great. Ingredient, yeah, it doesn't really understand I mean, this is just a simple union enum. We should be getting completion here. I don't understand. Okay, whatever. Let's call this S, just because that's like a common thing. Int from enum S amount plus equal this. We just need to do this like 3 times, so it's not really a huge deal that we don't really need to like generalize over the types of items. Well, we kind of are, but not in this case. Okay, there we go. All right, now we'll see what's happened if we actually call this now. So this is pickup type. Okay, so what we'll do is this will actually be an item type now, which we need to import. All right, so we'll have this item type, and instead of increase resource, it's going to be add. This needs to be public. Add item. Let's call this not tag, but item type. So it's a bit more descriptive. Item type, and then amount. There we go. Right. So we're just increasing the inventory a little bit there, and that seems to be working well. It's weird that I don't get any compiler errors here, because this doesn't match up. Maybe I do get some, no. Let's remove these. So now we don't need all that crap. And we don't need the gem pickup thing. Maybe because we don't use this or something. It feels weird. We should get compiler errors now. Yeah, C in a bunch of high-level languages. Okay, cool. Have you tried Zig? Let's see. Okay, let's check out. Oh yeah, because the pickup is here, right? And then this is a pickup resource, which is going to be blueberry, and the amount is 1. Okay. and then the blue. Then why am I not getting compiler errors? Because this should be so now you can see here. Okay, now I can choose. Now this is a resource, and it's going to be a gem, and that's it, I guess. And this is going to be an ingredient, and it's going to be a blueberry. There we go. Okay, now it's like all generalized here. Cool. All right. And yeah, so also, like, if you want some other type of item that's not a resource, I mean, you could just implement another apply pickup function, use that instead, and so yeah, then you don't need to, you know, always use this. So yeah, really cool. Let's see. Let's go to gem, small gem. You are a gem. Yes, so that's the same thing. Yeah. Okay. I mean, what is gonna happen if we try to run this? I'm pretty sure, because if we go to the items, we're missing the raspberry. So I'm gonna copy the blueberry and make a raspberry as well. Blue rasp. Blue rasp. That should be actually all we need to do. Except this, maybe. Let's do like, I don't know, 12, 12. 12. Okay, here we go. Now we get a whole bunch of stuff. All right, so let's see. Right, so we need to change here as well, because now we're using, well, for one, I changed the structure of the imports here. So these guys, well, they are public, yeah. So we can just use, it's gonna be crafting type or ingredient. Right. Yeah. Right. I think what I want to do is I want to sort of, for the inventory, I want to, you can also do this now. You can have a generic function that is like get item and inventory and the item, and you can pass an item type, and then you get an item state out. And so we will switch on the item type, and we will just return this. There we go. Instead of just manually, you know, using int from enum everywhere, we can say get item hang on, this, let's actually use values. No. Tags, right? It's gonna be tags. Yeah. So this is actually item type now. There we go. And then the amount is gonna be dot No. We'll skip this part here. Field. There we go. Alright, we don't have the name, but we can say tag name item type instead. What is this? Expected type, type info, item type, union tag type. So it's the union type of this. Is that what you're trying to do? Right. But you wanted that. Is it because it's nullable, maybe? Wait, so you say, no, you're the union type. Oh, I see. This is, okay. So I have to say now, I have to say ingredient. There we go. Because this is like the sub type. This is like, you have to construct this type. So you have to say dot ingredient equals to this. Yeah. There we go. All right. Okay, so what's this now? Expected I32 found U32, right. Well, we can just do an int cast. And there's that. And here's the other way around. So, so this is where I'm not sure actually. I think I need to look this up because what we're doing is we have a U32 here that we want to modify with an I32. So it's like we don't want to coerce the I32 to a U32 because then you lose the negative. And it's going to be a hassle if we need to coerce this to, or if we need to convert this to an I32 first, then decrease and, or then add and then store the result. That's going to be, this has to be something that is like kind of common. I'm just going to say zig unsigned integer plus signed integer. Adding a signed integer to an unsigned. All right. If you need to go from unsigned to signed, and always guaranteed that the cast will work. I just, you know, I know. Wait, what's happening here? So here's the result of function. Apply shift to somewhere. Okay, original shift use as I size. Yeah, it's, yeah. This is what I'm saying. First, you convert it to an assigned. Wait, no, that's just relabeling this for some reason. So that's shift, yeah. Okay, then you create U, which is just same as this, but it's mutable. Same as original, but mutable. And then if S is less than 0, S is less than, this is hard to read, but I'm gonna get through it. If S is less than 0, U is negative with overflow operator equals to int cast negative S. What? So we're double negative here? This is confusing. I guess as this is signed, you can do negative if S is less than, so it's actually positive here, but then you subtract. Oh. Okay. I guess I see kind of what's happening. I guess you make this positive so that you can cast it into the unsigned type without losing the information, and then you subtract with that. Okay. But if S is just, you know, positive, we just do plus. Okay. Well, maybe I need to go here actually. Okay, there we go. So here we can see, okay, make it a function to make it easier to discuss alternative functions. Okay. Yeah, so this is basically what I want to do, except why is it so difficult? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there are built-in functions for this in assembly. I don't know. Whatever. So apply shift to original shift. Okay, what's this? So it's basically the same thing, but you're using abs instead. Okay. So it's basically the same thing. Like 2 without the var. Okay. Here we just return the result. Okay. So it did. This is basically what I have to do. Okay. It's either that or I create 2 different functions, one that subtracts and one that adds, but it just feels so bad, annoying to do that. I mean, okay, it's kind of built in here to the function that, okay, it's called add, but you can actually, you know, it's a signed integer, so you're supposed to be able to remove items as well. Maybe we should actually call it, have different functions for it. I mean, why not, I guess. Sure. All right. And then this will be negative. And you can't go below 0, so that's fine. There we go. All right, fine. Okay, that solved that issue. Don't field name gems instruct inventory. Yeah. So, right. So now we need to say get item. Wait, what's happening here? Oh, we don't know this type. Okay. Get item. This is going to be a resource. .gem. Oops. All right. U32 and item state. Right, so this is going to be... Well, actually, we could add convenience functions here as well. We could add get item amount and also get max. Return get item type dot max. Get item amount. All right. Now, what the nice thing here is also this type, you can actually make this type dynamic depending on, well, it's non-compile time, but you can make it depending on what you set the max to be. Let's say this max is like, it's always gonna be 999. So what you can say is like resource, or actually you can say max any item is gonna be the max of resource, max ingredient, and default max usable. We could also have like a max usable amount at 999. So we'll have like a cap there. So this would be max usable. So now we have the max of any item, and what you can say is you can say item integer, and so this is now, I think it's this one, int fitting range. So it's from 0 to max any item. So now you get a sort of how we call it, well, you get some sort of integer type that is always gonna fit between 0 and max any item. So it's gonna be tailored towards the maximum number that you're gonna have. So for this example, it's probably gonna be, you know, 1024 is gonna be the maximum. This well, I'm guessing now. Wait, is it gonna be? You're gonna have, yeah, it's gonna be U. So U8 is 256, right? So U9 is 512, and U10 is 1024. So it's gonna be U10. This here. If item integer is not equal U10, we get an error saying item integer is not U10. Well, what we could do is compile log the type name of item integer, and we should get that somewhere. Could we say compile error type name item integer? We should get it somehow. So I just want to log that. There we go. That's the error. So that's the type. It's a U10. So you can sort of, if you really want to optimize for memory here, that's in this situation you can do that. So that's pretty cool. So instead of, you know, using U32 everywhere, we can actually say now we have an actual sort of type that is like a dynamic type that you can use. So this would be an item integer, right? Which you can use everywhere. and this amount is an item integer. And then we can also make it public so that we can use it, for example, in here as well. Wait, it's already here. No, but here. So this one, this can be an item integer now. We get from here. Oops. No, item integer. All right. Okay. Do we have anything left here? Let's see. U32. All right. Yeah, and this should also be item integer. Chance to lose. No, that should be good. Get item. Right. So this is now amount. We can say here instead. Yeah. Right. And so we also need. Oh yeah. So we need to be able to set the item as well. Set item amount. Okay. Easy enough. And this would be remove item. There. All right. No field name gems. Yeah, so this would be get item amount. There. Now I realized also what you could do is these maps here, we could also make them, you know, you could return a struct that has the map like this, right? And then we can move this part in here, and we can rename this to init to make this sort of more ziggy. So we now have a init function, right? And yeah, and then we can also like copy all of these functions into this. Yeah. And now we can operate on not item type, but we were operating on E now. Right. And so let's say this one, for example, we will say return self map int from enum item type. Yeah. And self is now, I'm just gonna say this. Okay. And here we say self.map int from enum item type dot amount plus amount negative equals. All right. So now we have all those things on each of this map. Oh yeah, we don't need that. Actually, we could have the default max passed in here instead. So this could be default max amount is an integer. So we don't need to pass anything here, basically. There we go. All right. And so here we say, we have to say this here now instead. This would be default. All right, now we can just say init for these ones. There we go. And what we can do here now is we can say, well, we don't have a, well, actually, you know what? We can do, nah, do we want to do this? No. I'm not gonna go super ham on the thing. What I was thinking is mapping this to this field name so that we can get the map from the type, but I'm not gonna do that. Right, so now we can call. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because well, we have a way of generically talking about the items, but we also have now, we can say .resources .add item and then only care about those. That is the reason why I'm doing this. So remove item. I'm gonna show you here in a moment. This is set. And this is also set. And get. Oh shit, this is actually S, not I type. Whoops. Alright, there we go. No, not get item max. Just get item. There we go. And these two we don't even need to change. There we go. Alright. Yes, this is default max. Let's just use this. And also, yeah, this we will return map equals that. There we go. All right. Okay. So the reason for that, as I said, was that now we can use these ones as well. So if we go back to quests here, instead of calling get item amount like this, you can also say .resources. Well, okay, we don't get the LSP working for this, but you can say get item amount from resources, and then you don't have to say .resource.gem. We can just say .gem is jump step, because I think like that's a little bit nicer like that. Okay. It's just mainly I don't like the look of defining the item type like that. I like the look of just .gem. Yeah. All right, so where do we resource? Yeah, so we have all these, so we can use .resources, .get item amount. We can use .gem now instead. Do we save on actual? I mean, I think it looks a little bit nicer. When you know which type you wanna target, this is really nice to do. And it also makes sense because we are grouping these in different groups, so it does make sense also to have nice functionality in each one. And it didn't really cost that much to have it code-wise, so I really like this change. Okay, and if you don't know the group, then you can just use the item type, so that's also very cool. For pickup, for example, here we have pickup resource, so you can have any item type, and then you can add item from any item type and generally talk about that. All right, there we go. Okay, so all right, and also if we, for example, now we can also generally say like add item, like if it's gonna be maximum. Yeah, so what is that gonna be? So it's gonna be like from enum item type dot amount. I mean, I would probably, let's save this so we can build in the sort of handling of maximum amount here as well. And then we say it's going to be equal to previous amount plus amount. Actually, we'll probably just use, we'll also use set amount. Yeah. That makes more sense. We'll do set amount, previous amount, plus item, plus the new amount. There we go. And then we build in the thing from there. I'll do the same thing here, except it's negative. So now we can say here, we can say if, well, actually we can just say max. Yeah, there we go. So now that's built into all these operations. Okay. Any more errors? No field name gems, right? Oh yeah. So it's gonna be resources get item amount gem. Awesome. Yeah, I really like using the enum to talk about different types of things for this, for like different systems. It works really well, and you can do a lot of com time stuff with it and stuff like that. Okay, let's see now how this looks and if it runs and stuff. If I could get my controller working. All right, well, we don't have any ingredients. But what we could do is we can now say that the monsters could drop yeah, we have drop on death. And we can say, for example, yeah, they drop some sort of entity type, which is this here. And I guess we could make this into a union enum. And so we can say, okay, if you just have an entity type, then it's that. We have some sort of weighted list. Weighted array. And so this would be an array of entity type and I don't know, some sort of weight. Wait, that's right. So how the standard library actually has a thing for that. So there is a weighted index. Proportions. Okay. Interesting. So is this like an integer type? Randomly selects an index into proportions where the likelihood of each index is weighted by that proportion. It's more likely for the index of the last proportion to be returned than the index of the first proportion in the slice and vice versa. I don't understand. Okay, this is useful for selecting an item from a slice where weights are not equal. T must be a numeric type capable of holding the sum of proportions. Okay. Right. Okay, but you need to do struct and then entity types. It's gonna be this, and then weights. It's gonna be, I don't know. Let's just say F32, whatever. And then weighted index. Well, let's do get entity type, I guess. No, entity type. So switch on self, and if it's entity type, then return that. Actually, let's do this. And then if we have weighted array, we get this out. And now we get the index of F32's proportions. Those constants. There's going to be this type of weights, and then we just return entity types index. All right. So that will give us a random based on this weighted index. But I want to read this again because I didn't really understand here. So I mean, it's basically you're putting a list of weights, right? So if every weight is the same, let's say it's 1. For each item in the list, you put 1, and then it's going to be sort of just equal weights. Is going to be randomly selected one of the items. But it says here it is more likely for the index of the last proportion to be returned than the index of the first proportion in the slice, and vice versa. Weights are not equal. What do you mean vice versa, and why is it more likely for the index of the last proportion to be returned than the index of the first Summing the proportions of picking a random point in 0 over 0 to sum. Then loop over the proportions. Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah, I've actually implemented this before one time, and this is basically what I did as well. I was wondering if there was a more like mathematical, better way of doing it, but it's basically you have to loop through twice. Yeah, but this is sort of this should work pretty well. I'm not sure what they're talking about here. More likely for the index of the last proportion to be returned than the index of the first. I don't understand what that means. But okay, I think I know how it works. Just reading how they implemented it. So the end goal is that okay, you can have a weighted array where it's like you're sort of saying the percentages of each drop, let's say. So let's say we have init with a weighted array, and we get the types, and we get the weights. Right, and this would be, let's start doing this. Weighted array. Come on. And yeah, this is entity types. Oops. All right. And let's go to, for example, mossing. Drop on that. I guess maybe all monsters. Yeah, I think I added this to all monsters. Where is it? Drop on death. So small gem. So now we can make like a little loot table here, basically. Init weighted array. And the weights. Okay. Well, now they're dropping nothing, but let's say we have small gem, blueberry, and raspberry. Small gem could be, I don't know, 10, and those are 1. So we have to test this now a little bit, but let's try that. I have to change my spawn position. Right now it's in the boss room. Go to main. I guess we can just start the editor. Maybe, yeah, over here. That's fine. Did it start? No. Okay. Oh, and we crash. All right, interesting. Let's see what the crash is about. Oh, I see. I did not update the system accordingly. Right, so let's see, where is this happening? Drop on death. Right, so we have to say get entity type. All right. Well, we have to grind a bit. Well, I mean, we're sort of testing also that there's mostly going to be gems, but then once in a while there's going to be there we well, okay. Interesting. Let's see, where is it? Oh, also the okay, there's something wrong with the yeah the add resource probably here. We're setting the amount of previous plus amount. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, this should be min, not max. There we go. All right, and now we need to kill our save. Okay, let's actually make the drop rate equal. Also, yeah, the graphics was wrong, so yeah, this should be consumable. Actually, consumables is kind of it's not really the correct name, or the correct, yeah, but whatever. Should probably just move them over to items. Oops. I have to wait for it to compile now. There we go. All right, let's see now. So right now we don't have anything here. Oh, it crashed. Okay. Oh, we don't have the texture. Oh. Textures. Right, we don't have that. There we go. Now we should have it. I should really change that to be sort of dynamically loaded in depending on, you know, whatever is required and stuff, but that's gonna be for later. Okay, there we go. Now we got a blueberry. Okay, so there you can see we got 2 blueberries now. I guess we can change this to an icon now. And I probably want a different border as well. There we go. Now we got a raspberry there as well. Cool. All right. Yeah. I mean that works. Okay, and then I'm gonna see, like, if we load this up again, we go to ingredients. We still have these here. So for, you know, saving and stuff, it works as well. Yeah, so let's change out those icons. Do I want to just create a small little border maybe? No, I'm just gonna draw one. Let's see. Where do we have this menu? Draw inventory. Right. So, I wonder if we just change the size, how is that gonna look? Okay, well, I guess it's better. This is kind of the size that I was thinking about. Maybe even smaller, actually. It could be smaller because the actual, like, item icon is like 16. Yeah, it's like 16 by 16. That should fit in the box. Yeah. So let's do do we have like draw texture? Position. Yeah, this should be like. Let's try this. Draw texture. Now the texture is going to be. Well, I guess it. Yeah, no, it's always gonna be consumables, I guess. No, it's gonna be. Wait. We don't really have a description of the textures. I'm just gonna hard code this, I guess, right now here. Textures, texture container. No. Where is this? Here? No. Textures. Oh, it's just texture container. Okay. Texture container. No, container. Okay. And then we have the texture. It's gonna be this. Get consumables. Right. So that's the texture. Now the source. It's gonna be interesting. I think, yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, it's sort of yeah. I guess we need like an item type here. Or I guess, yeah, it's an ingredient item type. If this is, I guess we could use like animation as well. We could get the animation. You can actually add functions here, so you can add get animation, and then this would be, you can even get like the actual animation here, registry, and then wait, that should be it, I think. No, let's get the texture. Actually, let's get, yeah, texture and the source. Okay, so now we have the full description of how to render this thing. So return texture and source is something there. That's why I wanted to get the animation, because that has that information in there. I guess we could get like animation container. And oops, blueberry would be, so this is, I mean, it's just gonna be blueberry. Right. Now it has to match the thing, but that's fine. Now this is supposed to be one of these resources. And this is going to be a animation serialized, and then we can get the idle one, and then we can get the texture component. There we go. Yeah, so this is going to be the animation thing, and then we say get idle, or I think it's get animation. Go in here again. This is animations, get animation, we get this, and then we can say get texture component. Yeah, there we go. And then well, actually we can just return get texture component. See, is anyone, do you need, you need name only, you need self text, you need texture, but we can get texture from here. Oh, okay, wait, this one is animations, yeah. So this is animations, and then animations get animation idle, and then the texture is gonna be, wait, how do we get this? Get resource animation. Okay, I'm not sure if we actually get, so let's see, init, textures, load, yeah, we simply load the files like this. We don't use like ID or anything. Or do we actually? This key here. No, that's a string. Right. So we're using this string, right? So this is kind of where the systems, the old system meet the new system. So in the new system we have IDs for everything, but I haven't really set that up, I don't think, for the textures. So no, but we have to, because how would we know? Okay. Wait, oh, that's right. So if we go, for example, if we go to this monster here, we're actually hard coding in the texture here, but it's actually available in the animation. It's available here because this type actually has, like, when we load in the animation, it has the texture ID with it. So we don't actually need to do it like this, but that's how we do it. So yeah, that's what I was thinking here, if I could use that ID, but I can't. So right not now, not right now anyway. Okay, so anyway, so I'm gonna set that as a to-do when textures are loaded with IDs. Change this. Wait, this is not the correct place. Okay, so we still need to do some hard code stuff here. So it's like if, so it's like switch on self if it's, well, actually this is always, right now it's always gonna be consumables. Okay, so that's the texture, and then here is the texture. Now where is the, here, current texture, right, okay, but that's the instance. This one, get texture component. So we need texture, and index is the frame. So we're just gonna use 0. Right. All right. Okay. Now, also what you could do is you can say for all item types, we can also say if actually, and then we also, what we return here, oops, we return texture component instead. That sort of describes how the texture is going to be drawn and stuff. Okay, so here we can say switch return switch self inline else, and then if, actually not return, if has declaration type of s. If we have a declaration called get texture, we will return get texture. Otherwise, it's gonna be like a, I guess we return null if we don't have it, or it's gonna be compilers. No, let's just return optional there. All right. Okay. What's happening over here? Oh, I see. So now when we have all that, so we can now say item type. So texture component is item type get texture from registry. So that's our thing there. Now we can use this over here. We can say texture component dot texture and texture component dot source rectangle. Position is gonna be position, and this is texture component dot. Okay. Now we can also make a new function here that is like draw texture component tile grid, and then instead of passing in all of these, we will say texture component. Draw texture tile grid. Texture component texture, texture component source, position, and texture component. There we go. Alright, and now we can just say draw texture component instead, and we pass that in there. There we go. Okay. We can remove this. Actually, here we see sort of the position here is rect top left. But let's start there and see what we need to modify. Right, so you need item type. Which is, what is that ingredient? Yes. Unused. Okay, yeah, the name is not used. Let's remove that. And then anything else? Yes. Oh, unable to evaluate content expressions. So let's see. Right. So let's do a switch on self, and then inline else content s. Okay, I think that should work, or not. Maybe we don't need comp time there. Okay, no field or member name get animation in that. Huh. Okay. In resource animations. Oh yeah, I have to say dot data, that's right. No, dot data, no wait, that's the thing, and then here's dot data. No field name main function get considered. Oh, it's okay. Well, let's just do unreachable. Throw safety to the wind. Okay, there we go. All right, now let's see if we get some textures in the inventory. Yay. Okay, so I wanna move them half a tile over. Let's see, where is the thing? Draw. I'm gonna say icon position. It's gonna be position plus 1/2. Could maybe even be. Oh yeah, we need to. No wait. Yes, yes. Wait. There we go. I'm probably gonna change the borders because they are used for basically everything. So I think I wanna maybe have different borders for these things. I'm not sure. And then maybe have like, well, let's move this text up. Maybe have spacing here so that it looks. Well, I'm not sure how it's gonna look if you have more than. Like if it's gonna wrap around like the next row. Let's actually change this to 1. So now it should wrap around with 2 rows. I'm not sure how I want it to look actually. Maybe actually we extend the size of the thing and have like X whatever in the box instead. Or maybe the number is just put over here in the box. Yeah, maybe that's good. So this would be this -1. But then also I want it to be sort of right aligned. So if the can we do that? Well, what we could do is we could say I guess we could calculate based on the length. Hello, Stasia, or I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Welcome. Hello, question. If it's is it not better to put a temporary, really obvious animation texture for things not implemented, so down the line it's clear you have to fix that instead of unreachable? No, I mean, yeah, probably. Let's see, where was that? Here. Like the thing here is let's see, so get animation idle. It's basically like, yeah, the animation sort of determines, yeah, it's gonna determine the source rectangle for the texture. Basically, it's like which sprite is gonna pick. And if idle doesn't exist, then the item basically, like right now, all the items has to have the idle animation to work basically, or to be able to be shown. So maybe we could have some sort of test for that or something. But it's gonna be, if you're testing the game, you're gonna be able to spot that issue. But it is there. I mean, yeah, it is a good way probably to deal with it. So you're saying to have a temporary, really obvious animation texture for things not implemented, right? So it's like if you're testing and you're seeing that, okay, we need to fix this one. Yeah, this is basically like we do have this animation. It's just that if for some reason in the data files it's not defined, it's gonna be maybe because someone, or I mean, it's only me working on the game, but. I'm just thinking in the context of also like a larger team or something. Like if I then rename this in the data to smaller case I or something, then yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be an issue here. So it's like when you open the menu, then it's gonna crash because it's not gonna find this specific animation. Actually, really what I would want to do is have this like get the animation in a separate way. Like the best way would be actually to, well, best way, it's not really, maybe not the best way, but it's like one way that would be really nice if I actually had it, would be if there was code generated from the data files that actually, instead of saying idle, we can do idle like that, which then is compile time checked to actually see, okay, does it actually exist? That would be really cool to have, but I don't have that. So but that could technically be something that I could add in the future, but just to make it super safe. I mean, it wouldn't be that much of a hassle. We have, like, I have the structures for everything. It's just that it's gonna be more things in the backpack to deal with. But yeah, I think I see what you mean. So instead of saying or else unreachable, I would say something that is like, let's say it's null, and if it's null, then or some default animation, I guess. Yeah, you would notice that it's crashing. Yeah, it's just if you, so maybe you'll do a last minute update and then you miss to maybe test everything, you know, and then you know, there could be some sort of crash coming from that. So it's probably better, instead of crashing, to have a bad texture showing or something. I don't know. But it is a very good idea, actually. You should probably avoid crashing as much as possible. But yeah, we don't want to have weird textures either, I guess. It's like choosing between those. But yeah, it is a very good. I understand the purpose of the thing. There could be something that we have in the future. Okay. So yeah, so this text here. Now this would be log 10 of amount, right? Yes. And then we add, well, we'll see. Okay, so the bottom left minus, actually this is only for x, and the y is 1. Actually this should be plus 1, I think. We'll see. Expected F32 found U5. Oh yeah, load from it. So are you a game dev as well? Or I mean, I wouldn't call myself a game dev because this is like sort of like my first kind of serious delve into game dev, I would say. And I'm calling it serious simply because of the fact that I've spent more than a month or something. I don't know. Wait, yeah. So, okay. Where is this numbers? Maybe they're hidden behind the thing, or maybe my math is not mathing. Right. Are you learning for backend? Cool. I'd like to see others code as entertainment. Yeah? You can always learn new things, looking at different, reading others' code and stuff. All right. So backend, which programming language are you gonna use? C#, Python, Go, Zig, maybe? It's possible. It's not that. I guess it's not popular, but yet, at least. Okay. Okay, let's just do this and see where it ends up. Oh, the left. Okay, yeah. It should be bottom right. Okay, so now it's off to the right. Okay, so then now we do negative here. Okay, Go. Right now I'm learning SQL to use on database, right? Awesome. Okay, let's move it half a step instead. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, we can add, but then I have to do this. All right. Are you using any online resources or anything? I'm gonna do half plus a quarter actually. Yeah, we're gonna have like a different border, I think, for these. Removing sort of the foliage around the border. I mean, this sort of works. It's just that sometimes it's maybe hard to read the numbers, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, that's gonna be sort of a polishing thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say I'll remove the save file and then go into inventory. So we will say the default amount is gonna be 100, let's say. A small course on EDX. Okay, I haven't been on there, but it was a long time since I went on. Okay, what's okay? So the reason why I'm using like log 10 is so that when you get to from 0 to 9, it should be like 0 or 1 or whatever, or 0, I guess. And then from 10 to 100, it should be 1, or 10 to 99, and then 100 to, so basically each time you add a digit, this should add 1, right? So now I'm not really sure. Oh, maybe we need to do over 2 actually. Alright. So let's actually scale this by half. Because the tile grid is I think it's like half of the thing. There we go. Okay, I guess that's fine for now. All right. Remove. Okay, we'll try go back to 0. Okay, I'll try with like in the tenths as well. Yeah, all right, yeah. There's a lot to learn. But do you think, is it fun for you? Or is it just to, you know, get skills to find a job and stuff? Well, you can do both. It can be fun and a job. Alright, so what now? Okay, well, we have yeah, we have our little inventory now. Oh yeah, one thing we could actually do, like if you see here, we open up the inventory. We can move the grid a little bit to the center. Oh, now it's gone. Okay, let's start over here instead. Like we can move it over to the center, like because right now there's like 6 cells. I guess we can populate, I guess we can draw all the cells as well. Even if we like, so that you can see that how many slots are there, but you don't see the actual item until you get it. Draw cell, should we just make another function? I guess if this is question mark, then we can say amount, or yeah, amount is equal to maybe amount or else return. I will call this maybe amount instead. Okay, so now the amount can be optional. So if it's not there, we don't draw the icon and we don't draw the text, but we still draw the box. And so now we can do, instead of doing this, we can say this. Okay, so now we should always see both, like all the boxes. We only have 2 right now, so it's gonna be pretty empty anyway, but at least they're there. Okay, there we go. Okay, I need to change the cells per row to something else. I guess we can have 3 for now. We don't have as many items, but 3. And then what I'm thinking is there's gonna be like 1 here as well. So this will end up in the middle, right? That's what I'm thinking. Is it fun when you actually solve a problem? Or it is fun when you actually solve a problem. When you hit your head against a problem without solving it so much. Not so much, yeah. But I do it to get a job, yeah. I mean, it's not a bad job. What method do you use to center other text, inventory, enemy names, etc.? It's not the same method as there. I mean, yeah, so I've basically devised like a grid system for the UI. So because I want the sort of the feeling of it actually being like a tile-based system. So that's what I have. But then I sort of sometimes I cheat a little bit and put stuff at non-integer grid positions to make it look a little bit better, I guess. So, but otherwise, I'm just trying to use math to position stuff, and well, for this one, for example, the positions are based on what? It's based on this thing here. So get anchor point position top left. So this one is, yeah, at 0. Okay. It was some time before I was here. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the top. I'm actually gonna take like the top center instead to be like a base, right? And then oh yeah, and then you add like the offset. So but the top center is basically in the center of the screen at the top. Okay, and then I'm thinking that you take the width of the grid and so now it should be in the like it should start at the center. If we look at this now, right, so it starts at the center here. So what we need to do is move it half of the width of the entire grid, which is now 3. Like it should be like there's one missing here, but it should be 3 here. So we move it over half of this size to the left. So and the method I use to center text and stuff, the text is basically just usually you don't really know the width of text because it could be dynamic and it could be like non-mono spaced and a bunch of other different, you know, dynamic variables to it. So it's like you never know, but you can, what you can do is you can use a measuring function. So you have a function that measures the text. So in here, for example, I have an option here that I want to set it to be centered. Okay, and so if we want it to be centered, then wait. Well, okay, here we are actually using a different like draw text function, which sort of has centering, I guess, built in, maybe. Yeah, we're calculating text size. Okay, so this is actually because I'm using a monospaced text font. I can calculate it using an equation here. But usually you could say that the text size, or the text width in this case, is going to be measure text. So you're measuring the text size, and then you determine the position where you want it to be if you want to center it. So you take maybe we have text and the font size, whatever, and then the text position will be something like so you have like offset x plus the width over 2, or minus the width over 2 if you want it to be, no wait, no, yeah, minus, if you want x, offset x to be the center point, you have to take minus width over 2, and then offset y, and then this would be like, you know, 24 over 2. This is the height of the font. So you just, usually you have that like text height, you usually just say it's 24 or whatever. So this is the text height. Yeah, so here's how you get the center. You're centering the text now with this equation here. I'm not sure if that was clear, but it's usually maybe a bit clearer if you're using, if I'm gonna show with maybe visualizing it is a bit easier to see But that's the same method that's used to center the position of like a rectangle or something like that as well. Okay, so let's see, cells per row. So let's get the grid size. This is gonna be, or I guess width. This is gonna be cells per row times the size. Let's take the x of the size. And I guess we can put this down here. That's the grid width, right? And then this position is gonna be plus the, or negative, the grid width over 2. And it's gonna be the vector where we only have the x component defined, and the y is going to be 0 in that case. All right, there we go. So now it's centered. We only have 2 items, so we should really set this to 2. But yeah. And once we have more types of items, we can add those in there as well. There we go. So there's our thing there. Cool. And yeah, we can just, if we try and get the other ingredient, there we go. Now you can see it. Now it's visible and it shows up there. All right, cool. So that's our ingredients. I do want to be able to sort of select and show a little, text box that describes like the item a little bit, like have a little bit of description. But yeah, and what do we do with these items? We don't really have anything to do with them right now. But I'm thinking I'm gonna add like an NPC in the village that is gonna help you create health potions with those items. So next step would be to add the health potion item, and also I guess a way to actually use the health potion item as well. So and then simply add like an NPC that, well, you need some sort of crafting thing. Maybe at the start we could just be, an option that says, okay, please give me one blueberry, one raspberry to create a potion or whatever. And you just get the potion, and that's that. And then maybe in the future we will add like a little UI to make you sort of put in yourself like which ingredients do you want to use, and then you have to have recipes, or I don't know. We'll see what's gonna happen. All right. But I think I have run out of time for now. But yeah. We got a lot of things done. It was fun to add these things. I think this is also gonna, as I mentioned when I started streaming here, this is gonna sort of improve a lot of the rewards that you can get in the field. Like, and also like, we're adding a bunch of secrets so that you can get a whole bunch of rewards, and it's gonna be a lot nicer and more like if you get more varied rewards than just getting 1 of 2 options for each reward or something like that. So this will enable us to have yeah, a bunch of different rewards and yeah, other stuff to do in the village as well. So yeah, that's exciting. And thanks so much for watching and joining me here. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. So have a nice day. And